Mem Hey Amid Aleph, 4 lines from the top. We say Pachas Mikan Knesset Etzba B'ayin. If someone lives with a girl that's under 3 years old, she doesn't. It's not considered a relations. And the Basulim, him and Hyman would return. Return. That's what we're going to discuss. The return, or if it doesn't go away. You buy a little.
Wait, how did you explain it's like poking yourself in the eye?
We said that it just it causes tears to come, and
every time you poke yourself,
there's more tears.
So you started out saying, well, no question, it's 2 pages behind.
No, I wanted, because you skipped over that. I wanted to go
very good. Yeah.
Okay. No more questions.
What it said here, that means poking in the eye. I mean, there's tears, there's all this stuff going on, but after a little while, it goes back to normal. Goes back to where it was.
And then if you poke yourself, the tears come again.
Right.
But it always can return to normal. Like little girls.
Right.
Yeah.
So Ibaylo, there's a question here. Ani Basulim Mezalasli Viasu. What happens to the Basulim? Does it go away and it comes back? We're talking about that the relation's under 3 years old, and we say that she's still considered a basula. So what happens? Does it grow back? By Dilma, it's atsude hudalai mit today, or maybe it's never removed. Ad lachagimel until after 3 years. Does it go and come back? Or maybe it's never removed. I'm going to ask straight away, what's the difference? Either way, it's there after she's 3 years old. Even if they had relations before, but it's still there. Well, here's the case. There were relations before the girl was 3 years old, and there was blood there. So it's assumed that the basulim were torn, possibly. And then again, there's relations after 3. Now there's no blood. So if we say that it goes and it returns, well, there was no time for it. There wasn't time for it to come back. So the fact that there was no blood now doesn't mean that it's not coming back. Still, it's coming back. But if you say that it's never removed, then this would mean that in the interim, in between the relations when she was 2, and now she's 3, someone else must have been there and had relations with her, and she's like a married woman. And she had relations with another man after she was 3 years old, because it wasn't with him. And the fact that there's no blood must mean that the basulim were removed by someone else. So what's the din? Do we say that it's never removed at all when she's under 3? And therefore, if that's the case, then there should have been blood. Now, or do we say it's removed and it just comes back? And it didn't come back yet. That's why there's no blood, but there's no problem with that. The Maskefler Rav Chia Breder Avika. Rav Chia Breder Avika has a question. What are the 2 sides of this? One side you made up. We in our own question, we made up what one side of the question is. We said that, if it goes and it returns, that means that it takes time to return. How do you know it takes time to return? Maybe it comes back right away. Even if it goes away and comes back, maybe it comes back right away. And nevertheless, even though there's no blood here, and we say that it takes time to come back, so that's what he thought, that it takes time to come back. But really, it doesn't take time to come back. And really, there was another person here that lived with her. So whichever way you take the suffix, whichever way you take it, you're still going to be to question maybe there was another person with her. Ela nafkamina. Rather, Rav Chia Breder Rav Ikka gives another explanation. Nafkamina kigoin shabal b'toich gimel amatzadam ubal lacher gimel amatzadam. The question is totally different. He lived with her when she was 2. He lived with her again when she was 3. Both times there was blood. If you say that it goes and it comes back, so then the blood within 2 years was dam basulim, not tameh. We consider dam basulim tameh. That's because we think that there's other blood that's mixed in. But dam basulim really is just a wound, not tameh. But if we say that it doesn't even get removed when she's under 3, there's no basulim that get removed. So why was there blood? It must be that it's Nidda blood and she's a Nidda. No, I don't understand why the Gemara needs to give me 2 relations here, one before 3 and one after 3 for this question. If we say it never gets removed, so just have 1 relations before 3. The Gemara should have a question. He lives with a girl that's under 3 years old and there's blood. Is it Nidda or not? If it doesn't get removed, then it's Nidda. It's the same question. Why are we complicating it, throwing in another case? I don't know.
I thought the question was just right after.
Yeah. So, but now our question is really, originally the question is, we thought the question was, why is there blood now? Why is there no blood now right after 3? That was our question. Why is there no blood? And now we switched the question. We said, no, there's blood before 3 and there's blood after 3. If you say that it doesn't get removed, so then why was there blood before 3? It must be that it's dam nidda.
Before 3.
No, after 3, you say there was blood.
Like we say it's dam nidda.
No, after 3, no, because we said that the skin doesn't get removed before 3. So there couldn't have been blood there. So the blood before 3 was the dam nidda. Yeah, you're thinking the blood after 3 is dam nidda? No, I think the blood before 3 would be dam nidda. Yeah, Rashi says, Hai dam nidda hu hai da taich gimel. So, anyway, okay. Maybe what the Gemara is saying is like this, that if there was only 1 relation and there was blood, and she's under 3, even if we would say that it doesn't get removed, we would still say that this is dam basulim, the blood from basulim. It's only afterwards that we saw that there was dam basulim that we say that the first one wasn't. It must have been dam nidda. Maybe that's how it's working. Okay, Amar Rav Chisda Tashma. Rav Chisda says, come and listen. It's under 3, then it's like putting the finger in the eye, and tears come, and then it just goes back. And when you would do it again, the same thing would happen. Just say less than that, it's nothing. Why are you giving an example? What are you gaining from that example? It says, no, my lava Kamashma is coming to teach me something. Also the basulim, they go and they come back. That's what it means, that it's Knesset Bayan. That's what it's coming to tell me. So it would not be dam nidda. Taner Rabbanan coming. The rabbis taught in a brisa. Maisa, there's a story. The Yustini Bitay Shel Osiris Ben Antoninas. Huh? Not Jewish. Justini sounds like Justinian. No, Justinian was many. Justinian. He was much later than Rebbe. Osiris. What's Osiris? What is that? What do I know that from? Severus? Antoninus. You probably, I don't know if you know who that is either.
It says over here. It says some claim that this Antoninus is Marcus Aurelius Antoninus, the emperor nicknamed Caracalla, who ruled from 211 to 217 CE. He was known for his close relations with Jews with stories of such an affinity dating back to his childhood. Others assert that the reference here is to a different emperor, the Emperor Septimius Caracalla,'s father, who ruled from 196 to 211. He too maintained friendly relations with the Jews, yet others contended this is Marcus Aurelius Antonius, who ruled from 161 to 180. That's what they think it is in Mississippi.
It's true. Wow.
It's Italian. It's Italian.
Very Italian. Okay. So we're talking about a girl, and she's from the royal family in Rome. And she comes in front of Rebbe. Amrloi, she says to him, Rebbe, Yishabel Kama Nisas. How old can a woman get married? How young is probably what she wants to say. Amrullah, he says, Baskimol Shana V'Yemechad. From 3 years old, that's when she can get married. Become misaberes, and at what age can she become pregnant? Amrullah, Rebbe responds to her, Bas Yud Beis Shana V'Yemechad, 12 years old. Amrullah, Ani Neseisi B'Sheish, Yiladati B'Sheva. She says, I got married at 6 years old. I gave birth when I was 7. I wasted 3 years in my father's house. I could have gotten married earlier. Yeah.
How do you bring proof from a guy?
One second.
Yeah, but it's right. You didn't answer that.
Second, the Gemara asks me, Ma'abra, you'll say Reb Chaim, you're onto something. Me, Ma'abra, how can she get pregnant so young? Tani Rav Bibi Kamid Rav Nachman. Rav Bibi taught in front of Rav Nachman, taught a brisa that says like this. The Tosefta, we have it as a Tosefta. That Gimel Nashim Shamshis B'Mayf. There's 3 women that can use a cloth when they have relations, which means that they would remove the Shifazera probably after the relations. Machlekes Rishonim, how that would work. But basically, they can use some sort of birth control. Who are the 3 women? Ketana, Me'uberes, and Minika. A child, a young girl, a pregnant woman, and a woman that's nursing. And what's the reason why they're allowed to use birth control? Ketana, a girl, Shemet Tesaber V'Tamas. Maybe she'll get pregnant and die because she's too young to carry a baby. So she's... There's different ways of learning this. Doesn't mean she has to, or doesn't mean she's allowed to. Depends how this big discussion, big machlekes in the Rishonim. Me'uberes, a pregnant woman, shemetasa uber sandal. There's a concern that maybe she's going to get pregnant again, and it's going to cause the original fetus to be a sandal. Sandal, the unformed, deformed.
Sandalfish.
Right.
Did you used to use herbs, yes, to be able not to make them makarot. We learn from it to shella.
Right.
You have to white.
I know what they say. The people that you say, what you call them? Parents. No, okay. They say, yeah. No, here it's Mishamish B'Mayif. They're actually wiping out the zera. So, Minika and a woman that's nursing, maybe she'll wean the child because she's pregnant. She's not going to be able to be pregnant and nurse the first baby. So she's going to wean the child and the baby will die. So
it says that she becomes pregnant and her milk will dry up.
Milk will dry up. Shematigmal espina, wean the child. Okay. Either way. Tana. So far, we didn't get to our problem yet. But we said, what's the issue here? What's the age of the Tana that she should be concerned that she's going to get pregnant? From 11 years old, God Yud Beis Shana, until 12 years in the day. If she's younger than 11 or she's older than 12, then there's no concern. Younger than 11, the assumption is she's not going to get pregnant anyway. And older than 12, the assumption is that she'll be fine carrying a baby. That whether it's this or that, she can have relations and she doesn't have to worry. Hashem will take care of, will have compassion. and interesting. The Yerachamim. See, Rachamim, compassion, is associated with the word rechem, which is the womb, because it's a motherly feeling. Is the rechem. Ben Hashemayim Yerachmu. You follow? The heaven will have compassion on.
Funny,
Cinema.
Rechem backwards is Machar, because brings tomorrow.
Oh, please, please give me.
Rechem
Give
backwards
it to me. Give it to me.
spells Machar, tomorrow.
You got massage too. Wow.
Very interesting. Is that quoted? I mean, is that?
I just made that
Oh,
up.
okay. No, it's interesting.
It's even better.
Very good. Shenemar,
Yeah.
as it says, Shem B'Sayim Hashem, that Hashem protects the Hesius, like the fool. Hashem will protect them. If they don't know better, then Hashem will protect. So we have a problem. And our problem is that how could she get pregnant at 7 years old, when we have a brisa that says that the earliest is 11. So, Reb Chaim, you ready? You want, you could say that their flesh is the flesh of donkeys. That means that they're not Jewish, they have a different body. That their mouths speak foolishness, speak shav, falsehood, vanity. And the right hand is the right hand of falsehood, shakar.
By the way, here the interpretation, the note says it's not that it's a different body, it's a different proclivity. Their tendency, desire to have sex is earlier. I guess donkeys are like heterosexual compared to horses or something.
But that wasn't really our question. Our question was the actual pregnancy, not the relation.
No, I understand, but maybe because of that, there's something there.
Oh,
I'm just reading it from the bottom.
uh-huh.
Perhaps it was this excessive desire that in some strange way caused Justine to become pregnant at such an early age.
It's Mary Rivka when she was 3 years old.
She had a little lamb. Because the donkeys most promiscuous of all animals.
Uh-huh. Okay, interesting. So you're saying it's not the physical body, it's the hormones.
I'm saying that's what
It's
the Meiri says.
It's the what's it called system? The hormones. What is the
Endocrine.
endocrine system? Okay. Taner Rabbanan. It's taught in the Brisa. Rabbi Akiva. Story of a woman that came in front of Rabbi Akiva. Amra Loi, she says to him, Rabbi, Mani Lakuna. I had relations before I was 3 years old with someone that would have made me forbidden to marry a Kayan. But I was under 3, so maybe it doesn't matter. Because it's not considered relations under 3. Amala Ksherat Lakuna. Akiva says your question. Amalei Rabbi Yemshalach Mashal. Let me give you an example. What's this similar to? The child that he puts his finger in the honey. The first time, the second time.
She's giving Rabbi Akiva the example?
Yeah.
He's already pronounced that.
She's fine, but
has
she didn't
OCD.
explain the story
She has
exactly.
OCD. Oh,
So first he puts his finger in the honey once, twice, and he screams about it. That sounds like, I guess he's there. What is this on my finger? This honey. Shlishis, at the third time, matzitza, he already licks his finger. He sucks the honey off. Amar la. So what she's trying to say over here is that that she enjoyed it. It wasn't rape. It was she was doing it willingly. Amalim came to sulat lakuna. This is okay. So then you're puzzled. Sees the students are looking at each other like in surprise. Why is this so difficult? What's the problem? Amru lei. What happened over here? She's under 3 years old. She shouldn't be puzzled. But for Rabbi Kiva Rabbi Kiva also only meant it just to sharpen the student, to surprise him.
To get that answer.
I guess that's what it means. But he wanted to say something shocking to hear what they would respond, and then he would clarify it. We have another case. I think Rabbi Akiva said that every baby, every woman in Egypt had 606. Gave birth to six children, 60 children, made like a large number, and then it says they saw the students were falling asleep. He wanted to wake them up. He said that. In Menachos, I think.
I like Rabbi Akiva. It's like he says some shocking, goes, just kidding.
It's fascinating that that's recorded.
Yeah.
What was the last piece you said?
Rabbi Akiva did this in other places also. To wake up the students.
Keep sleeping. Doesn't work. We had this in a previous episode.
Yeah, I think in Menachos we had that. Okay, we have a new Mishnah here. It goes like this. In Teisha Shana V'Yemechad, a 9-year-old boy, Shabal Yevamte, that has relations with his Yevama, which means his sister-in-law, but his brother died, so he's supposed to be marrying her. Kana, he's acquires her. That's considered the marriage. There ain't a nice and but he can't give a divorce until he is 13.
How can he kind of something before he's bar mitzvah? It's like a child given esrog to it. That's the problem. They give you dalamim and make a kinyan.
Becomes his.
Transferred out.
He's asking because usually there's a das acheres. Usually there's an adult that's giving it.
Minor can't make a kinyan.
Right. Unless there's an adult that's giving it.
But
das acheres.
what adult was giving? Well,
Over here, I don't know.
I think the shaila is if the minor doesn't make a kinyan on the dalamim.
Yeah, but that's because someone's handing it to him. I don't know. It must be that this is
if he can't perform chalitza, how can he acquire?
Yibam he can do. Chalitza he can't do.
Even he can do, and that's the last.
I'm not sure.
I think it's chalitza. Yeah, so that would be an obligation, and he's a minor.
Rashi
But
says.
he can't do it.
Rashi says, Rashi says that even though in Kinyan Lakatan, it's already partially his, just waiting for him to complete it. Now it's based on the brother's marriage. Okay, but the get he can't do until he gets older because his brother had a real marriage. And he can't end that marriage unless he's older. And he also becomes Tameh if he lives with a Nidda, because his relations is considered a real relations. It's already 9 years old. Paisel, if it would be a non-Jew that lived with or a mamzer, that lived with a girl, that lived with a Kohen girl, Kohenes, then she would be puzzled from eating truma. We switched from a Jewish person to a non-Jewish for this case to make it. The ina machal b'truma. However, this I'm not sure how this is going to work. He can't cause his yivama to eat truma. Why? Because he's a kohen. And he acquires the Yavama, but she doesn't eat Truma yet. From that, I'm not sure why. This is a little difficult. And also, what about her brother? What about the brother's marriage? She should be eating Truma because of. Oh no, she would go back to her father's house. All right, she would go back to the father's house. Okay. Now, upaisal asa behema me'al gabim mizbeach. If he lives with an animal, so the animal would be puzzled to be a carbon. And the skelas al yada, the animal would also be put to death. And balachas mikolarais musbatayra, he lives with any of his relatives, close relatives, incest. Mumsin al yada behu pater, they get put to death because of him, but he is exempt because he's still underage. Gemara asks, what's going to happen? He said that he can't give a get until he's older than 13. For 1 second. But Tanya was taught in a brisa. Also, bias ben teska maimer begadol, but usually by Yibam, there's something called a rabbinic mamar. Mamar means that you designate which brother is going to marry the sister. It's sort of like a kedushin that's given, and it doesn't actually create the marriage. It just like designates the which brother is going to marry. It's like a engagement or a kedushin for Yibam. Now, when a 9-year-old lives with a Yivama, so that's only like Maimer by a Gadol. Ma Maimer begadol tzarach get l'mamar v'chalitza lizikasei. Chalitza is still required if he wants to get rid of if you break the Maimer, if you want to get out of this designation. So you give a get for that. And you still have to do chalitza because someone's got to marry the sister-in-law. That was never performed. So so this child that did bia, that had relations with the Yavama, he's 9 years old, he still has to do chalitza because the bia of a 9-year-old is only a like a mimer. So Amarav Hachikama, Rav explains what's happening here. When he becomes 13, Yivol, he has one more relations with her, even though he wants to get rid of her. And the Ethan get, and then he just has to give a get. He doesn't have to do chalitza. Chalitza is a big job. A get is easier than chalitza. Chalitza has to be in front of important people of the city and all of that. You have to gather people. Taking off that shoe is probably a lot of work. But he has one more relations, and then he divorces her with a get. Okay. We have another Mishnah. We have an 11-year-old girl. You have to check to see if she knows when she takes a vow, if she knows what it means to take a vow, if she knows that she vowed to God. Or let's say she sanctifies something. You have to check. Does she know what she's doing? It says something about children that say bracha. If you're supposed to respond to their brachas, amen. About children, it says if they understand what they're saying, it's supposed to respond. Here, this is more than that. This is that it actually works. You see, there's the power. Person has, just like Hashem created the world with speech. So a Jewish person has the power to sanctify things and to create rules just through his speech. So if he knows what he's saying, he knows to whom he's saying this to, then it's going to be valid, even though she's only 11, and this is halacha is going to apply when he's 12. It's automatic. Once she's 12, then she has to keep what she vowed. But you check all the 12th year. That means when from 11 until 12, all the 12th year. Because when they're born, they're not born at age 1. They're born at age 0. So the first year is 0. So when they're a year old, they're 1, but they're really in their second year. So when you get to 11, we call that the 12th year. Okay, if there's a boy that's 12 years old, he takes a nether, you have to check to see if he knows to whom he's taking the vow. Once he is 13 years old, then it's automatically valid. And you have to check all the 13th year, which means from 12 to 13, to see if he knows what he's saying. Under this time, if he's younger than this, so that means he's under 12, or for a girl, she's under 11. Even if they claim that they know what they're talking about and they know to whom they're saying this, they know to whom they're sanctifying, it's not valid. And it's not, there's what they sanctify is not sanctified. If they're older than 12 for a girl, older than 13 for a boy. Even if they say, I don't know to whom I took the vow, and I don't know, my client doesn't say name. I don't know to whom I said this to. Nidra neder v'kdeshin hekdesh, then it is considered a vow, and it's what they sanctify is considered sanctified. Unless, of course, we would have real proof that they're a shaita or something. Otherwise, it's assumed that they know what they're saying. Okay, the Gemara asks like this. Even the Tana, we're going to discuss the Mishnah seems repetitive. Even the Tana basachas rishon of yemech nidrein nivdakin. Once we said that an 11-year-old, you have to examine to see if she knows what she's saying. Why do you have to say that from 12, it's valid? You said that it's only the 11th year that you have to examine. That means that after that, everything is fine. So why do you have to say that? Could have thought. Maybe you always have to ask her. Even after 12, maybe she doesn't know what she's saying. Kamash Malan, that no. That after 12, it's assumed that she doesn't know what she's saying. You don't have to ask. And once we said that once she's 12 years old, then it's her vows are valid. So why do you have to go back and say that you examine all of the 12th year from 11 to 12? It could have entered my mind to say because the master has taught that 30 days of the year is considered a year. Let's say we examined her the first 30 days, and she doesn't know to whom she's taking a vow. Well, lahaflis is an expression based on the pasuk. Ishkiyafli neder. And she doesn't know for the first 30 days. Maybe you don't have to examine her anymore because the first 30 days went by and she doesn't know what she didn't know. So say nothing changed. 30 years is like the year. We'll wait till she's 12 and then everything will be valid. No, you have to check every single day of the 30 years every single day of the 12th went from 11 to 12. You have to check. Does she know what she's saying? And that would mean the opposite as well. That if one day she does know, it doesn't mean the following day she knows. Right?
When it says the Amar Mar, it says over here that with a capital M, as if to say maybe the Mar is Hashem. So who else would be called the Mar without the capital? Is that possible?
I don't think so.
Any proper noun.
Maybe a capital. Yeah.
What's the capital letter?
The M for master.
But he wants to
In the
say that
translation.
it's not a proper noun. I would say that it shouldn't be a proper noun unless we know. Do we capitalize president?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
It depends if you're talking about the
I always do, but in the newspapers since Trump got in,
Not
they
Obama.
never
We
do.
don't do Obama. Obama had a lowercase.
So
It doesn't say anything in the commentaries about the Mar.
no, but you're asking a question from the translation.
Yeah. But I'm thinking you translated it like that for a reason. It doesn't say.
We have a Tana that says Lamed Yem B'Shana Cheshuvim It's Machlokes. We had before on yesterday. We learned this. So.
It's the
Rabbi
same as
Yochanan
Rabbi.
Amar. Rabbi Yochanan says Lamed Yem B'Shana. We thought that maybe it's a Tana as well. Rabbi Yochanan said it's like Rabbi.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Rabbi's not capitalized, right?
No,
Sometimes
it
yes.
depends. If I'm saying rabbi, if I call you rabbi, it's capital.
Right.
I think Mar.
Oh. Uh-huh.
If you're in Beis Menachem and there's one person called rabbi, so you say the rabbi said this, it would be capital.
No, but if I say there was a rabbi that went
There
went
was
for
a
walk,
rabbi that walked into a
I
bar.
don't capitalize that. So
With a
the,
priest in the name.
The priest
Is this
is
a
also
joke?
married.
okay. So so where are we holding now? V'lisnei hani tarti bavi. Let it say those two things. Vasid beishana b'yomecha nidra kayamin. That from 12-year-old in a day, the vows are valid. Ubaitin kol yud beis. And you have to examine her. You have to question her all the 11th year, all the 12th year, which is from 11 to 12. So why do we say that we from 11 you have to be baidik, you have to check to see if she knows. Basically it says the same thing twice. And you can deduce the third thing as well. But now we're asking on this is totally repetitive. It says it's necessary. I mean, I could have entered your mind to say really on the 12th year. You do need a bedika, but on the 11th you don't need a bedika. You don't, which means a year behind when she's 10. I could have thought that maybe if we see that she's very precocious, I would have to check to see even from the 10th year. Kamash Malan, that you don't have to do that. Not that you don't have to, that you don't do that, and there's no vows from before that. Says 1 second. So it says before this time and after this time, it doesn't matter. So Salkadait Chamina could have entered your mind to say Hanimil Hechad like Kamrienu. Aval Hechad the Kamrienu and Nismechalaya. I could have thought that maybe that's only if they didn't say anything. But if they do say that they know what they're saying, before we said you don't have to check. You don't check. But what if they actually came along in their own initiative and they said, I know to whom I'm taking the vow, that it should be valid. It's a Kamash Malan that we don't rely on them even if they say it. Okay. And Rabbana was taught in the Brisa. Elo Divri Rebbe. These ages that we gave of a girl that's 12 years old is considered that her vows are automatically accepted, and if she's 11, then you have to examine. And by a boy, it's 13 is automatic, and by 12 you have to examine. That's the opinion of Rebbe. Reb Shimon ben Elazar Reimer, Reb Shimon ben Elazar says, Dvarim amurim b'tinaikas b'tinik amurim. Dvarim amurim b'tinik b'tinaikas amurim. It's exactly the opposite. The boys are more mature than the girls. Boys, it starts.
Usually the girls more mature, and
That's Rebbe's opinion. Okay. Reb Shimon ben Elazar says the other way. He says that the boys are more mature. Boys from 12, it's already, they know what they're saying. And from 11, you have to check. And by the girls, at 13, they know what they're saying and to whom they're saying. And at 12, you have to check. He says exactly the opposite. I'm Rav Chizda, my time of the Rebbe. Rav Chizda says, what's the reason for Rebbe? The Ksiv says in the Pasuk, even Hashem Elikim Esatzela. Hashem Elikim built the side of the rib of Adam, right? Remember my joke? I'm having a wife. Remember that? So, and this means that Hashem gave more understanding to a woman more than to a man. That means that it comes earlier. The understanding comes earlier. Vayiven, built, is the Lashon Bina. Okay. I was going to say, what does Chassidus say? Okay, V'yidach, what does the other opinion say? We need this pasuk for what Rish Lakish says. Nam Rish Lakish Mishum Reb Shimon ben Manasseh. That Rish Lakish says the name of Reb Shimon ben Manasseh. Even Hashem Elikim Esatzela Shelakach Min Adam Leisha Vayivel Ela Adam. He brought it to the man. Malamid Shekala Kadosh Baruch Hu Lachava Via Eitzel Adam Risha. This means that Hashem braided her hair and brought it to Adam. She came b'krachayam kalan the kalisa b'niyasa, because in the krachayam in the islands, it probably means Greece. They call a braid. They call it building. They call it building. So this Vayiven means that he braided. Hashem braided her hair. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What's it called when they make the hair? What's it called when they make
The braids and the eyes.
Cornrows. Cornrow. Yeah,
Yes.
cornrows. Alan
This is
Iverson.
above your pay grade.
Tight ones.
Uh-huh.
It's above your pay grade.
Reb Shimon ben Elazar, my timer. What's the reason for Reb Shimon ben Elazar that the men are mature earlier? Amar Reb Shmuel bar Yitzchak Teisha Tinik Matzi bebeis Rabbi Nechneses by Amumas Tchila. Reb Shimon bar Reb Yitzchak says that because the child goes to school, so he gets more sharp. He gets more sharp. I see in the Tosfos Rashi on the side. He says, but let's say there's children that didn't go to school. So he says, well, their parents went to school and the grandparents, so they got it in their genes because the parents went to school. So which is not exactly the way it's called the Weissman barrier in biology. They have this thing that what you do. You remember this in high school? There's a Weissman barrier that the way people behave does not affect their genetics.
You want us to remember that from high school?
They say the giraffe that reaches up to eat the leaves from the acacia trees, they stretch the neck, is not going to make the necks longer for the next generation. Or if someone works out his whole life, it doesn't mean his kids are going to get any stronger. Whatever you do doesn't affect the genes. So here, but this Tosfos Rashi says differently, because the father went to school, so therefore the children are going to be smarter, the boys are going to be smarter because so many generations of parents wearing glasses is going to make the children wear glasses, and it becomes the genetic.
Amongst the Jewish people, you have the wisdom come from from generation to generation because they're studying more and the nations.
Right. So that's what the Tosfos Rashi says.
Think about that.
Who says that it's affecting their genetics? It could just be that because all those people, like he's saying, they acquired the wisdom, they got to pass it on. Even though the kid doesn't go to school, he still gets something from his home. Yeah.
But from his home. So that's what it means.
Excuse me. What's the relationship between this whole discussion?
What's our point?
Yeah,
We're talking about the age. Talking about the age of a girl to become a Nidda, and from that we went on to different ages. What's the age of relations? What's the age of vows? And if there's a difference, the boy and the girl, of 12 or 13, which one would be first?
And that's because of the anatomical issue here, rather than there's something wrong with this whole discussion. Well, why can't the minor be a witness
little weapon
traced in, even if he's smart?
Right.
Because they know that they're not going to be called to be a witness in a based in, and they're not as observant. Maybe they're not that smart to know that they're not going to be called.
Why would they not be?
That's the reason that's given. But luck is whether or not the person, this boy who sits here, is to find the based in.
No, but if we would change the law, then they would be acceptable.
Excuse me?
If we would change the law,
If we would change the law, there would be a different law. Yeah.
then they would be acceptable. Now, if we would say that we do accept the minor, then that would mean that we would be more observant, and then they would be acceptable. So that was the halacha all arbitrary, that we just chose a date.
I guess I'm asking why in this particular instance there's so much of a subjective and individual test, whereas so many other places in law there's
Oh, okay.
that's what I'm really asking. I cut off.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
the Gemara, by Nadarim, the Gemara has this. By a neder, it's subjective to the person's understanding. The Gemara learns it from the word yafli, which yafli could mean close to the mufla samachlesh. It's close to the age of being a man. And we say that it's only if they know to whom they're taking the vow. We add one extra year to the ish that it says in the pasuk. So, and we would add one extra year to the woman that would be eligible to take the vow. Okay, but now we get into a very fundamental discussion of bar mitzvah. What's the age of bar mitzvah? Where did we get this from?
Not according to Rebbe, according to Shem.
No, but actually, probably according to both. Well, according to
Rebbe, bar mitzvah was 13, but he says it's the opposite. Shouldn't have been a lazer.
Gemara has a question. Let's see. What the Gemara is asking here is that, let's say the child reaches maturity during the 12th year or during the 11th year. We're talking about that they reach puberty. So are they considered bar mitzvah in this time? Do they gain all these responsibilities if they have pubic hairs or reach puberty? Here's what is the main determinant. What are we asking about when the yeshiva asks this question? If you're talking about vows, you said very clearly that it depends on what the person knows, if their awareness. Your question must be, will they get punishments? That means, are they responsible? Are they considered a bar ancient? If they violate any of the Torah laws, that means a bar mitzvah. What is the din? So Rav and Rabbi Chanina say that during the time, it's like before the time and it doesn't count. That sounds like the way we hold. Rabbi Yechon and Rabbi Shua ben Levi, no. During the time, they could be mature and they could become bar mitzvah earlier if they reach puberty. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak v'simanach v'zeis lifnim b'Yisrael. You want to remember who holds what? Zeis lifnim b'Yisrael. What you do is you take Zeis, which is Lashon Nekeva, and you say Rabbi Chanina, which has a feminine name, because Chanina ends with the comments Aleph. But let's imagine it's a comments hey.
Change it. Maybe that's what they change it.
Who changes it?
Sorry.
Oh, you're right. The guy Sabach
Hagoy Sabach
changes it to Rabbi Chanina to hey. Okay, that helps. So Rabbi Chanina would be the one that says Lefnim. That means younger, earlier. Lefnim means earlier. He's the one that says that a 12-year-old that reaches puberty is not considered a bar mitzvah. The other interpretation Rashi says is that it says Yisrael has the letters Rav in the Beis and the Reish of Yisrael. So that's a siman that Rav says that he or she is not considered a bar mitzvah if they're under the age. Okay. Masiv Rav Hamnuna. Rav Hamnuna has a question. But ask a question from our Mishnah. It says, after the time, even if they claim that they don't know to whom they took the vow and they don't know to whom they took the sanctified, nevertheless, it's still a neder and it's what they sanctified is still sanctified. Okay, we're medayak. But if it's during the time, then it would be earlier. It's only afterwards that it's considered definite. But during the time, it's not definite. So that's a kasha on Rabbi Yechanan and Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Amarle Rava says to Rav Hamnuna, Ema Reisha Kedem Zmanazeh Afapisham Yedem Manush. Ema Reisha. Say the beginning of the Mishnah because we were medayek from the end of the Mishnah that after this time it's a vow. That tells me that before that during the time it's not. And we think that it's coming to teach me about Einshim as well. So Rava says, one second, let's read the beginning of the Mishnah. It says, if it's earlier than the time, that means earlier than 12, younger than 12, younger than 11 for a girl, then their vow is not a vow, but if it's 11 already or 12 for a boy, then it would be kalashasman, then it would be considered like they're 13 if they've reached reached puberty. The Gemara says, one second, this is not what's going on. Rava Katai, Rava is making a mistake here. Who saba Rav Hamnuna Mishni Seira Kadayak? Rava's thinking that Rav Hamnuna thinks that there's an extra part of the Mishnah, so he's being Medayak. So he says, why should you look at the end of the Mishnah that's extra? The beginning of the Mishnah, you could do the same thing, and then you'll have the opposite response, and you have the opposite outcome. But that's not what Rav Hamnuna meant. Rav Hamnuna migufa de masnisin kadayak. He's not learning from an extra word. He's learning from the logic of the Mishnah. What is the Mishnah saying? How is it possible? What is the case of after the time that he's already 13 or she's already 12? If he didn't reach puberty, he doesn't have 2 hairs. He's still a child. Why are we saying automatically after the time? It's automatically everything is accepted. He's still a child if he doesn't have the hairs. It must be that he has the hairs. The time of the lachazman. And what's the reason why he's considered older? Why he's considered that everything is valid? It's because the time of the lachazman, who the Gomrei Leila Mil say, that's because he has everything, all the things that matter. He has the time and he also has the hairs. But if he would have the hairs during the time, then he doesn't have it because it's during the time. It's a raya that you need the time as well. You need the age to make it, because there's no question that when the Mishnah says that after this time, which means at age 13, everything is valid, there's no question that he already reached puberty. So that must mean that during the time, even if you reach puberty, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count.
What if he's 13 and a half years?
So we're going to see now what's going on. It's assumed. We'll see what the assumption is. Lloyd Master Rav Zera has another question. One second. What was our question here? This is a proof that you have to wait for the age to be bar mitzvah. You can't be bar mitzvah earlier. Master Rav Zera has a question. Ish ki yafli linder neda. This was the pasuk that we quoted. A man that will take a vow. Matam alemer ish. Why does it say a man? Rabbi ben yud gimel shana v'yemechad. This is coming to include if he's 13 years old. Afal pi she'eni yedei lahafli. Even if he doesn't know how to vow or to Nidda Daf kayamin. His vow is still a vow. Hechidami. What's the case? If he doesn't have hairs, katnu, then he's still a child. Must be that he has the hairs. The time of the Ben Yud Gimel, it's only because he's 13. But if he would be younger than 13, then it would be considered younger than 13. Then he would be considered underage. And so tiyufta, this is a problem. This is a strong question. Amar Rav Nachman says it's not so bad because Ketanai, there's actually a machlekes Tanaim that could support the other opinion that says that even if you're underage but you haven't reached puberty, you're still considered like a bar mitzvah. It says like this. It's not so clear in this brisa, but from a diuk in the brisa, we'll be able to figure this out. Ben tesh shanim shehevi beisaris shuma. If there's a 9-year-old that has 2 hairs, we say that that's shuma. The shuma either means a mole or it means like it's just fun. It's just it's not really considered real hair. How do they translate it in the art school?
Shuma yabelet.
Yabelet. That means a mole.
Oh.
What do they say here? Shuma. It's a mole. It's like a mole that has hair growing, but it doesn't mean that it's puberty. Iben tes v'yad yud beis shana from 9 to 12. V'yayim echad. Yud beis v'yayim echad, that means 12, actual 12, not 11, but 12. Shuma. It's considered like a mole. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, says, Simon. that's a sign that he is already mature. From 13, everyone agrees that it's a simon that he's mature. Gemara says 1 second. You skipped the year here. Hagufa kasha. There's a problem. Amrit mi ben tesvad yud beishana v'yemechad shuma. You said from 9 to 12 is a mole, the hairs. Hayud gimel shana gufa, but the 13th year itself, you didn't say anything. Must be simon. It must be that's considered a sign that it's that he's reached maturity. But then you say from 13, it's a simon. Hayud gimel shana gufa, but the 12th year is shuma. Is a mole. So we have 2 diukim from the fact that the ratio left out the 12th year. That tells me that the 12th year must be already maturity. And from the fact that the Seifa says 13 tells me that the 12th year is not mature. So it must be that the one that taught the Maresha didn't teach the Seifa, and there's a Machlekes Tanaim. What's going on in the 12th year? And that would help Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi.
So if you say it's a shuma, it's like it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Right. My love Tanai, it must be a machlekes Tanaim. The Marsav Teichman Kalachas man. Marsav Teichman Kalifnes man. One Tana holds that during the 12th year is like maturity. That's the first, the beginning of the Brisa. Marsav, the other one holds Teichman Kalifnes man. But during the 12th year is like earlier. Mar says like, no. The Kuli Alma, we're going to have a bunch of different ways of learning this. We're going to every option here is just like the Kuli Alma Teichman Kalifnisman. Really, everyone holds that too young, under the age is too young. And they're both talking about a girl. So both talk, and it's according to 1 second. The Reisha Rebbe, the Reisha that says 12 years is already the age. 12 years is the age. Well, the Reisha says from 9 to 12 is not counted, but that tells me that 12 is already counted. Okay, a 12-year-old, according to Rebbe, is Bas Mitzvah. The Sefer, Reb Shimon ben Elazar, and the Sefer is Reb Shimon ben Elazar that says a 13 is Bas Mitzvah. The conservative reform to Bas Mitzvah 13. Shimon ben Elazar, they figured it out. You see, that's why, according to the Rambam, the reason why we have machlekes is why we quote the machlekes. Why do you have to learn all the opinions that we don't hold of? It's because someone may show up and say, "No, our tradition is different. We have a different tradition." So that's why the Rambam says no. So we have to quote that opinion to say we know about that tradition and we've rejected it. Otherwise, we would just be flustered, like, "Oh, we didn't know that in India that's what they do. We didn't know." Wherever they would show up from. They could quote a lost medrash. They can quote a manuscript that they found in archaeology or something, and then we'd all get flustered, like we didn't know that they have the original. They say no, we know that opinion. And okay, we have another pshat up here. Hava habetinik. They're both dealing with a boy. So how do you have 12 and 13? Reisha Reb Shimon ben Elazar, the Sefer Rebbe. The Reisha that says 12 is good, that's Reb Shimon ben Elazar that says the Bar Mitzvah is at 12. And the Sefer is Rebbe, which is the 13. Viba Yasema, if you want, you could just say it like this. Hava ha Rebbe, it's both Rebbe. Habatinik, habatinaitis. One is talking about a boy, one's talking about a girl. It's really supposed to be tinaitis, habatinik. The first one was a girl and the second one was a boy, 13. Who switches it, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
What do they quote from? I just did that on my own. And they quote from somewhere?
Kaf.
Good. Oh. Xavier. Xavier means just a manuscript. They have a manuscript that says it different.
everything else.
Like that other Rashi version we had previously. Remember we had two Rashis?
Oh,
One was
and except yeah. I don't have the Dikduke Seifrim on Nidda. I don't know if it ever came out, but he collects the manuscripts from the Munich manuscript. They have different manuscripts of the Shas, and they compare them. In the Dikduke Seifrim, he has all. He puts them side by side. You can see all the differences. Okay, V'bayasema. If you want to say Hava Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Habatinik, Habatinika, so you can do it the other way. Reb Shimon ben Elazar says that a boy is at 12 and a girl is at 13. That's the correct order. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Imer Simon, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda says that from 9 years till 12, any sort of hair, any 2 hairs would be considered maturity, a very early maturity level. Amar Rab Krispedai, Bereder Rab Shabsai. Rab Krispedai probably comes from the Christus.
It's very
Crispus
inspired.
was a Roman name. Crispus.
It's
So very desirous.
Yeah, Rab Krispedai is very common. And they say he's a Tana.
He's very inspired in the area of Tzfat.
Oh yeah? And this is the one. It's even Rab Krispedai Stam is Bereder Rab Shabsai. Oh no, he's a Tana. He says the name of Rabbi Yochanan. I don't know if he could be a Tana. I don't know if he could be a Tana. Maybe there's another one that's a Tana. Okay. Oh, he has to be a Tana. No, it doesn't have to be a Tana. When do we say that it's considered maturity? That's only if the hairs last throughout until he reaches the right age. But if they fall out, then we don't say that he was mature, and it just happened to lose his hair early, and
It's considered like a mole.
we don't say that. Rather, we would say that it's considered like a mole. Okay. Tanya Nami Hachi. It's also taught in the Brisa. There's a 9-year-old that has 2 hairs. It's considered like a mole. From 9 to 12, oh, and they're still there. It's a shuma according to the first opinion. It's a mole. Rabbi Yehuda and Simon. So when does he say it's a simon? Only if it's still there. That's what we gave by this price. Only if they stay the whole time. They don't just grow and fall out. Amarava. Rava says Hilchasa Teichsman Kalifneisman. That's where we have our opinion of bar mitzvah. Anything during the time, any hairs during the time is like too young and it doesn't count. Rav Shmuel Bar Zutra Masnil Shmaita de Rava B'Hailashna. Rav Shmuel Bar Zutra taught the teaching of Rava the following. Amar Rava says, Tana Kol Yud Beis Shana. A girl, while she's 11 years old, that means all her 12th year, Mima'enes V'Hailachas. She can do miyan. She can reject the marriage that's done to her by her brothers. Her brothers marry her off. She can just walk out. She can do miyan without a get. The whole marriage is rabbinic, and the walking out of it is the marriage is dissolved without any
Water soluble. Annulled.
Annulled is what I wanted to say. The marriage is annulled without any document. Mikan ve'elach. From then and on, she cannot do miyan, but she still can't do chalitza. Chalitza, she would have to be older.
But she's 12, he says.
Yeah.
How old does she have to be?
How old does she have to be to do chalitza? We'll see in a second. No, she would need to be chalitza. Yibam would be younger. Hagu fakasha. You have a problem over here. She can't do miyan. I mean, she's an adult. If she's an adult, so then she should do chalitza. Maybe you'll say that it's a doubt. So you can't do this, you can't do that. Mimisavkale, is there a doubt? Rava. Rava says, Katana Shigil Lachal Shemisayin, Tzricha Bedika, Chazaki via Simanim. If once a girl reaches the age, she doesn't need to be examined if she reaches maturity. So, because it's a chazaka that she did. Hani mili b'stama. But that's only if minastam, that's the assumption. But if they checked her to see if she reached maturity, if she has the signs of puberty, and they didn't find it, so then we say that not. In this case, we happen to know that that she's not mature. The Gemara says, if she's not mature, then why can't she do miyan? Why can't she just walk out of the marriage? We suspect that maybe she had the hair, but the hair fell out. That would only work according to the opinion that says that you suspect such a thing. What is that? Oh, bad hair day. Elamanda. Elamanda, main chayshishin. But if we say that you don't suspect to that, what is there to say? The Itmar was stated by Amirayim. Oh, you have Rav Kana there? I don't know when Rav Papi lived to know why this is. I wonder why that's necessary. Maybe it's just a manuscript. Maybe it's really necessary. Rav Kahana, they switch Rav Papa to Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana Amar Ein Chayshishin Shemanashu. Rav Kahana says you don't suspect that maybe the hair fell out. That means that if there's no hair, there's no hair. She's not mature. But Rav Papa Macheshishin, Rav Papa says that you are Chayshish.
Oh, Rav Papa. See here, the second one is Rav Puppy. The first one is Rav Papa.
Right.
No, because Papa and Puppy are two different.
Right. So that could fit.
Papis used to be Cubans.
Okay. Is that in the commentaries over there?
Yeah, Google search.
So, Hani Mili in Chalitza. This is talking about Chalitza, where we say, Hani Mili in Chalitza. This is by Chalitza. You can't do Chalitza. Why? Because can't do Chalitza because she didn't reach the sign. 1 second. Hani milin in Chalitza. When do we say that you're chayshish, that it fell out? When do you say you're not chayshish? That it fell out. She'ein chayshishin. When do we say that you're not chayshish, that it fell out? We say that she's definitely young. That's regarding Chalitza. Avalinian miyan chayshishin. But regarding miyan, we say that she's too old. We say that she had the hairs and it fell out. Michlal. Oh, excellent. He was a Babylonian rabbi, 5th generation. That means
Amarai.
His main rabbi was Rava, so he's the same generation as Rav Papa. So why do we have to switch it here? Maybe because we're explaining Rava, that Rava is going according to an earlier statement, but it's not going to help because Rav Papa is there anyway.
It says he was a colleague and an opponent.
Okay. Now I was trying to put this Itmar in a different generation, but it's not going to help. It's even if you change Rav Papa to Rav Kana, and there's several Rav Kanas, but you still have Rav Papa. Okay. That comes out that according to the one that says that you are chayshishin, that you do suspect that it fell out, you could do chalitza, but it says chayshishin. Chayshishin doesn't mean that it definitely happened. Really, they didn't check. Regarding chalitza, you have to suspect that maybe, what is the chayshinan here? Maybe she didn't reach the right age. It's a different chayshina. Cheshina, that maybe she didn't reach her. Maybe she didn't reach puberty. It's only the age that she has, but maybe she doesn't have the simanim, the signs of puberty. Chikamarava chazaka lemiyan. When did Rava say that there's a chazaka? That's lemiyan. Aval chalitza by bedika. But for things that are so significant, daraisa, you have to examine. When it comes to writing on ice in the Sefer Torah, so see sometimes there's a bar mitzvah that wants to write the letter. The Sefer doesn't check to see if he has pubic hairs, but he'll ask him if you can't have a child. For everything else, for a minion, you count them for a minion. You don't have to ask anything. But to write a letter in the Sefer Torah, that could be.
Well, if
so you're going to use it. If he doesn't have a hair on his face, you're going to use him for a witness or for other things. He's a bar mitzvah. He can do everything, right? Yeah, certain things you have to check. Amar Rav Dimi Minardai. Rav Dimi Minardai says, what is that?
Get off.
Yeah.
If the kid's not aware of that.
I have parental.
No, well, Hilchas Cheshin Shemen he says that the halacha is you do suspect that that he's reached maturity. That he reached maturity. You suspect to that. And because he lived with her after he reached the age that it would be considered that he's mature. So therefore, this could be a real marriage. But if everything was when they were younger, then you don't suspect that the hairs fell out, and you can still do miyan. You still do miyan. Amara. Okay, let's leave it over here. Amara.
Go ahead. We had before Rav Hamnuna.
Yes, and Rava was talking to Rav Hamnuna.
So Rav Hamnuna, his child was Yuka, who was the source of the Ner Havaya.